Howdy, y'all. It's Trent Knox on this November 26th. It is a 11:13 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I wanted to jump on here and just kind of do a short audio segment to talk about some of the things that are happening in the creator economy and whatnot. Thanksgiving, there's going to be a big Kai Cenat stream with Drewski and Kevin Hart. That's probably going to be interesting. There's going to be some clips that come from that I'm looking forward to watching. Other than that, the Spotify creators monetization and the rev share that's coming in the not so distant future seems pretty compelling to me for continuing to do these short form audio or just audio in general, and doing podcasting. I'm not exactly sure how this will ultimately play out, but I got put onto this by Justin Schoenfelder from Fantasy Elect. We were having a conversation on X Spaces, and then we had a private conversation. He shared this with me, and I was really intrigued by it. The idea of bite-sized audio, long-form audio, just audio in general, going back and forth, and commentary and whatnot. It's voice notes on steroids in a way. It's like multiplayer voice notes. And there's obviously the aspect of like it being a voicemail, like back and forth voicemail. But it's cool because then people can come in whenever they have the free time to jump in and commentate on the conversation that's happening in this room, which is really in three parts, really: creators, automation, crypto, just in general, monetization. There's conversation about, venture capitalism, startups, etc. to be had here, in the conversation of innovation. But yeah, today was an interesting day. I was finishing up the last test within this current semester that I'm in my MBA program at WGU, and I passed the test, so going on into the last semester of my master's degree in business, and it's been an interesting journey. Had pretty much learned a lot as a entrepreneur before jumping into a business degree, but so I had some capacity of what I knew leading into it. And so I kind of had some experience coming into it. I wasn't a working professional because I was an entrepreneur, so I wasn't actively in a professional role. So it wasn't like I was just doing these night classes or etc. I was, bouncing back and forth between consulting and studying, right, for the past 2 years. And things have changed a lot. Obviously, the thing that's most important is automation and AI and crypto. These are the things that are going to be setting the tone for the future. And so just continue to learn those things and empowering brands and platforms and agencies through good marketing, good branding, good operations. That's really what it's all about at the end of the day. And on the marketing side, knowing your customer, not in the centralized way, but in the sense of knowing what they're needs are and how to best deliver on what you promise to deliver. And there's always a challenge in doing that because there might be a lack of communication. So you have to go out there and you have to figure it out, and maybe the customer doesn't necessarily want to be forthright or open about what they're actually needing. There's a lot of reasons why that might be the case, but whether it's intentional or unintentional, as a service provider, you just do your best job to figure that out. And if not, then you just gotta let bygones be bygones and let things go to the wayside. Even if you're, still passionate or disappointed in the performance of the customer, even, and I'm sure the customer might make an excuse or something as to, maybe, especially this is more so in employee relationships where they make up some reason why they got to let you go. In all honesty, that might even be the factuals or the truth. But yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot just going on, and these short form audio things are a way to kind of digest some of the things that are consumed from a visual standpoint, listening standpoint, the things that you just come across as you do on social media platforms. And so X Spaces, there's a lot up for desire in regards to the quality of the spaces. Clubhouse really did have that moment when it was the quarantine time and the lockdowns, and everybody that was doing things at a very big level were on the platform, and their presence really was felt, because if they spoke, they were really sharing a lot of value and how people could improve their lives. And so I haven't necessarily gotten that return on investment of my time, the value out of X Spaces in that way, because it definitely feels very I don't want to use the word cannibalistic. Feels like that, as in it's like a bunch of people eating dog food, but not in like the sense of eating your own dog food, but just like everybody kind of like just talking about being an ex-creator inside baseball type thing. And I don't necessarily know the ultimate value in that. You look at the creator rev share model that X has moved to, and there's a lot to assume that if you're creating X Spaces and you're advising, that's not the word I'm looking for, but you're promoting that the people listening are engaging with what they call the purple pill box, which is really just the live chat of sorts. It's like a live chat / comment section. There's no real live chat like you would see on a live stream like on Twitch or what have you. But it's obviously live in a sense, and it's kind of out of order in a lot of ways. When you go and look at the commentary on the X Spaces posts, through the purple pillbox. It's just like you can't really tell who's commentated the most recently, and like it just doesn't stack. The value doesn't stack, which would be nice to see it stack in some way. And then it would also be nice to see like an AI summary of what is being said, the consensus, I guess, much like the AI summaries that you now see on viral posts on Facebook, where the Meta AI has summarized the conversation that people are having on a particular topic. These tool sets are really interesting, I guess. And as I'm speaking here, I'm like, man, I don't know how much consumption you guys do. And maybe I do less, maybe I do more, but just it made me feel kind of it made me feel, as I was talking about that, like it was something obscure in the amount of social content that I consume. I'm driven to continue my research, I guess, into the creator economy, or the social commerce component of the future of social networks and social media and everything. You know, the terminology and the vocabulary just is uncertain, I think, right now, especially with, you know, the advent of the commercialization of community or culture. And so it's real tough to specifically have the right wording for speaking about these topics, whether it be speaking to something like Substack or speaking to something like TikTok or short form video, long form video, whatever the modality is, the means to which you're getting your message out there, your brand out there, for people to purchase your products, services, or solutions. Which is, you know, I guess I'll kind of like segue into AI in general, but, you know, the reason why I took a pause on my consumption component to do this production aspect was because there was a lack of innovation and new release for my liking. And you can ask most people who have been around me. I'm a very bleeding edge, I'll take my steak blue, please, kind of person. That might be going too far. In a lot of cases, I'd prefer my steak medium rare. But and so much to say, like, that I've heard it all already, you know, from computer use to, hey, Jen, virtual AI avatars. And I know some of the stuff that most people don't know about, because I'm just super active on LinkedIn. And so I speak to entrepreneurs that are doing things that are beyond the common consumer of AI. And so, like, I know about things that you have to know someone to know about it. You know, you have to be I don't want to say Noah gatekeeper, but in some ways it is Noah gatekeeper. And I don't think they're intentional. It's not intentionally that way. It only becomes that way because you're either not served the advertising that they pay the platforms to serve you, like the bigger platforms like Google and Facebook and TikTok, etc., or they don't pay for advertising and they're kind of bottlenecked in their in the way that they're doing their marketing, by either only being available to incubators, startup, what is the word I'm looking for? Accelerator environments, places where, you know, if you're not studying deeply the future, you're not going to discover these tools. And unfortunately, you won't benefit them in time for them to meaningfully impact your business, because by the time that the average consumer gets a hold of them, the people who've been utilizing them from pre-alpha to alpha to beta stage are going to have exhausted the overall value that tool produces in the shelf life of features in the AI age. Because by the time that it becomes a consumer grade product, the technology will have been consumed by the creators and brands and agencies that possess far more clout, capital, and community than any particular bootstrapped small following, it was called nano creator, may have. And so it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation. And you know, a lot of the times I get frustrated when I find out that a particular application or software or something has existed, you know, for more than 3 months. A good example of that is Whop. Like Whop, you know, I started to utilize heavily, and I talk with the founders in the community of founding users, and they've been around for a while. You know, they started as a platform to sell sneaker bots, retail, you know, arbitrage software that would get the apparel and merchandise and things like this at retail cost faster than the human engagement on, a popular website, Yeezy, Nike, Saint Laurent, high-end stuff, so as to have resellers and whatnot be able to, go ahead and resell that to the average consumer at a higher markup. And that time has changed. Now they're focused on being the money-making app, the app for making money for everything. And there's a lot of truth to that, but then I have clients that want to do proprietary work, so they want to, code everything from scratch. I've got clients that are utilizing different platforms like School and Stan and Linktree and a lot of other things besides Whop, and then trying to also use Whop. It is a bit about everything, even on a personal note. Like, you can always be in more places and more marketplaces. Ultimately, what I'm basically saying is that things like this are, like this platform here, AirChat, is that you need to increase your conversation flow. The more conversation flow you have will result in more cash flow. And you just got to talk to people. And of course, once you grow, you'll have some passive flow based on the content or the products that you have that are self-service. People are going to go out there and buy your stuff without you being a salesman on top of it. But of course, in any store, people are going to want to speak to an expert, somebody who knows the ins and outs of a particular product or a particular use case. And so, yeah, that's just basically what we're exploring, in these conversations. And I would say, as I wrap it up here, that I'm desiring more out of the things that I care about. Definitely on the entertainment side, because I feel that I'm withdrawn from video games, withdrawn from movies, withdrawn from music, and pretty much withdrawn from a lot of these things, in the sense that the return on investment time-wise isn't there, which is why I spend a lot of time on social media platforms talking about business, because I feel a sense of that return on investment being greater than the input, that the output is greater than the input when it comes to that, on the education level, on the entertainment level, yet to be at the level that I would like to see on the compensation level. But we'll see. I think that all these platforms are developing some form of revenue sharing capacity, whether it be affiliate links or ad revenue or subscriber redistribution, sort of like a redistribution of wealth type thing. Also the ability to utilize bigger creators to advertise your offer and sort of like get social proofing without necessarily developing a deep relationship with the other creator. So you can kind of like just utilize their audience, and you'll have people that are fans and people that are haters to deal with. But I heard a live streamer talking about this earlier today, that that things are so fleeting that even if a particular streamer did want to leech off of them, by pushing themselves into their streams, kind of like just photobombing them or stream sniping them, as they say in the industry, it's hard to hold on to the value that would potentially produce, because ultimately just being on one stream without having an extraordinarily viral clip popping off, that's a hard time to retain that attention. And you have a small window of opportunity these days to potentially get your clip on something like Livestream Fails or some Reddit that will boost the exposure that you would get from it. And then does that necessarily translate to someone who's followed your socials and turned on alerts and subscribed and also became a patron, paying their $5 a month and all that? Unlikely. In the event that it does happen, you've won the social media lottery in that case. And then just like figuring out how to stay consistent, building your network of collaborators is, by not being leechy, by seeding as much as you leech. That's a torrent reference, a peer-to-peer conversation. And this is beyond an A and B conversation, and you don't have to see yourself out. So if you are feeling a type of way, or you feel a type of way, and you feel compelled to drop your 2 cents, I'd really appreciate it. Sorry I couldn't get to the phone right now. If you leave your comments, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Have a great day.